When you look at the greater scope of delegitimization, what would you need, the ingredients, in order to delegitimize a state? Let's take any democratic state. Let's detach ourselves a bit from Israel. Well, Noam spoke about Israel, that it's the second, I would say, station for a journalist worldwide. You would need an extensive and enormous coverage of a tiny state that each and every day would be covering the Israeli government resolutions, decisions, laws, and you would preferably need some bias, preferably in English, in the UK, in the US. Then, it's not enough, because then you would need some kind of a civil society front or a grassroots engine. A BDS is not just kind of well, it's a part of a whole umbrella of delegitimizing the state of Israel. This goes in conjunction with another aspect. So we have media, we have civil society engine, which is grassroots. If you add it, as we heard before, social media, that's great, because grassroots and social media goes wonderful together. You can do whatever you want in social media. You can lie, and you can get credited for it with likes and shares and engagement. The third thing that you would need in order to delegitimize a democratic state would be working at state level. Try lobbying in states, parliaments, local governments, municipalities, whatever suits you, wherever you can do it. And the fourth, I would say, dimension is working in international arena, international organization and tribunals. If you have the fourth of them, so you start a good, decent campaign in order to delegitimize a state. Oh, you know what? I forgot something. Money. You would need a lot of money. Well, $100 million in the last 3 years were invested from 2014 to 2017 in delegitimizing directly the state of Israel. Some of it, the minister said, Minister Erdan, my minister, our minister, coming from the EU, coming from European governments, coming from a very friendly states. That's worrying. That's illegitimate. That's immoral to support boycott of Jewish state, to support boycott of Jews. And it's, again, we could see only the war of information, and we are acting in this I would say, capacity. But let us not forget, this is a whole fourth arms campaign, designated campaign against the state of Israel. And you've asked in terms of the answers. 3 years ago, the Security Cabinet has decided, Prime Minister Netanyahu, led by Prime Minister Netanyahu, following the leadership of Gilad Erdan, the minister, to erect a special task force in the Ministry of Strategic Affairs. This is a small ministry under the auspices of the Prime Minister's office, with one aim: counter the delegitimization campaign and focus on the BDS aspects. Since then, there's 30 people in this ministry, very talented people, coming from diplomacy, media, strategy, economy, law, and working kind of just like a governmental startup, some of them doing nothing, just getting paid to think brightly and out of the box. And this specific team for the last 2 years is doing 3 basic things, and some of them the minister has spoken. You have seen this maybe outspoken in the media. The first thing is to research, to understand more about who are the perpetrators behind delegitimizing the state of Israel. There are connections to terror. And you have spoken about this, the secondary anti-Semitism. What are the nature in terms of anti-Semitic remarks, events, being affiliated with different groups? So the first one is to understand, to research. The second thing that we do in the task force is to operate with government ministries. We have very direct and friendship collaboration. Me and Noam speaking each and every evening. So my wife always asks, who do you speak with? I say, with Noam. Operating with government ministries and organizations worldwide. We, in fact, networking with more than 130 organizations from South Africa to Sweden to the US, here in Germany. And we're proud to do so because you said it before, Noam. This is civil society towards civil society, and states towards state, and other entities towards the same parallel entities. And the third thing that we do in this national task force is this cognitive warfare, and I'm coming back with a very long kind of introductory to this war of information. There's an ongoing cognitive battlefield to delegitimize the state of Israel using BDS organizations, using very powerful media hubs, printed and online, using some very powerful images, symbols, people that you know. Some of them you have on your playlist, in your iPods. And this 360 campaign in terms of media, in terms of cognitive battlefield, is present. So we have erected a few networks, 100 bloggers from around the world working together in different languages from different states. We have erected 4il.org.il, which is a hub for, if you will enter 4il.org.il, you will see what's going on in these specific weeks worldwide in terms of delegitimization. Which demonstration, which campaign, where do these organizations are pointing at? I think that in terms of the war of information, the cognitive battlefield, we have to strategize better, and that's what we're trying to do with colleagues, friends, organizations, collaborations around the globe. It's not only English. We always think about English in the US. No, it's not about US. It's first of all about Europe. It's about you guys. It's about us. Thank you.